mile-unsheathed thoughts, saltatory narrative consciousness bottled by the path of least resistance, who wield stronger lights, wildfires, phone lights, flashlights, floodlights, laser beams, foolishly shining at noontime, afraid of the dark, afraid of the murky dusk, faithlessly afraid of the tremulous true dawn, who unconsciously steals stale captions, Picasso's purloining someone's Sharpie stick figure, wastefully creating nothing, striking the bell curve at its most silent node, embarrassed to vibrate, music cohering into dial tone. Who drive automobiles aimlessly, airbag army reserves traversing the empty night, full of imagined parties and imagined wildness and self-convincing happiness, trapped by friends in the same intangible carriage as last night. Who sit shotgun in the Wendy's drive-thru at 3:30 a.m., 4 for $4. They're the only thing open, and the only thing in town anyway. Hanging and talking and chilling, clinging to disingenuous imagined normalcy. Vague vagaries revealing nothing, displaying everything. A more exciting world for less exciting people. Who are brilliantly and foolishly molded and pressed like living, spinning clay in heartless, mindless hands, pressed into institutions, images, words, ideas, pressed into narratives, pressed usually into a brand name plastic mold, pressed sometimes sharply to craziness because no one is mad anymore. You're either crazy or normal, but don't worry, there's always Soma, trademark. Who an ideal progress and be pressed by Confucian will, with a subtle consent and discretion of the self, artful gem cutters carved into prisms of refractive, dispersive creation. Who know and forget the flaws of their fathers, whose fathers are tripping over the cord, stumbling, unplugging, exiting, who inherit the beating, beautiful, sublime earth covered lovingly in green life, scarred, who possess history's greatest electromagnetic empathy, charged, conducted compulsively to power the wailing, chrome, silent battery god, warm in his warmth, or who freeze or who burn out of sight or overseas the tawny, lifeless area around the power lines, who sit unjustly in expensive jails for smoking, smudging the Sharpie lines, smelling like marker, crisscrossing the air because their father lived under a crushing concrete neighborhood. Great, because their grandfather moved to the city to escape the noose of home, because their great-grandfather feared for his life, pissed poor, because their great-great-grandfather was a sharecropper, it was the only way he knew how to live, because their great-great-great-grandfather was a sharecropper, illiterate, because their great-great-great-grandfather was a human slave, Israelites under the secret silent whip of centuries, invisible dotted lines hardening like the heart of Pharaoh. Pharaohs, fake patriots, red and blue branding, 24/7 screaming, they're not racist, easier to change the out for the in instead of the in for the out. Uncountable rounding errors of self-denial compile a pile of shit, who shag and screw and suck and fuck, sincere right swipes, superseded superficial signaling conversations and milkshake shop excuses. Humanity is horny as hell, but hey, at least we're honest about it now. Who lift Nutella from the sharp edges of butter knives and eat face-down saltines, indulging tasteless addictions to sugar and salt. Legal, of course, it tastes good, more. Who feast an incredible smorgasbord of life and a Swiss cheese infinity of holes, to fill, unfilled, always unfilled as the universe in our heads always expands. Shouldn't we know this by now? Scotch tape, nicotine, dopamine patches where pain belongs. Terrified to grow, terrified of reconstructing, terrified of being wrong, terrified of strangers with signs, terrified of learning, terrified of fire, terrified of their own Promethean urge, unwilling masters of the ultimate procreant creation of creation. The time has come to baptize or burn. Burning idealist realists, obsessed with realness. That's that real shit. That's that balanced meal shit. That's that man, I know just how you feel shit. Who smoke bowl after bowl of apex predator marijuana, strengthened through artificial adversity as all things are, and dabs, sticky globby dabs from discreet vapes and indiscreet rigs, stuck to the couch by the one cure that could unstick their minds, moderation missing. Who read more words than any generation before, more bullshit, empty words, diluting the holy power of meaning. Endless texts rotting in the crevasses of ego. Who jostle through identical, linoleum, brown, white, well-lit halls into uniform desks and uniforms for our corporation, the corpse of our nation, sponsored by the National Rifle Association. Oh God, Teddy Roosevelt, someone please wake up! Gilded coins, festoon flashy electronic eyelids, Eli Lama Sabachthani floats from isolated islands of given comfort, individuals, pointed always at a different problem, a different enemy, 1,000 accusing fingers and 1,000-armed lying coctopus, Facebook striking human oil wells, punctured lungs, data deposits, dark slick sludge, numbers and tastes, and Faustian humanity spurting 10 feet high from holes gouged in 1.3 billion human chests. I accept the terms and conditions. Who jump 100 stories off the human colossus, finding, flying, falling, freedom, slept. who fixed Netflix for their parents just by turning the PlayStation on normally, fixing nothing, who nimbly navigate the digital world, the extension of that intersubjective ideal plane, and they are its subjects and masters, intuitively finding settings, raising the brightness, who sends the lines, those invisible lines made visible, learn which to adhere to and which to delicately dance around, free moral spirits aware of the falseness of some boundaries, illegally downloaded resistance, who were born so long after man first hit enter on infinite loops launched, crushing loops of misguided cause and evil effect which do not have to be artificial, the cosmic foil to that holy loop of water and good and light and life, who could be truly omnific, who now bear the sacred key of creation, the abstract quantum power to forge existence from possibility, infinitely inspirational, exponentially expandable atop every giant's shoulders, who shoulder that responsibility on bent bodies, unwilling, unknowing, unfulfilling, succumbing to its burdenous weight instead of transcending with its awesome freedom, and to cowardly waste the existentialist blessing, to be the bitch of our concupiscence, to hollowly satisfy the procreant urge with recreant comfort, to sit docilely on the predestination's slaughterhouse conveyor belt is a shameful waste, worse than death. Speaking of death. Death, decaying galloper on the side of the road. Death, moss-splitting moss, flight of the ghostly unwilling components of life. Death, preceded by the coffin. Death, stuck in traffic, lifelong definition. Death, routine, Walmart, boxes. Death, false pursuits, false expectations. Death, heuristic handcuffs. Death, narrowing, constricting, academia, atrophy. Death, denial, carved false knowledge, miscommunication, unsalvageable prejudice, inaccurate anger, unspeakable hate, inevitable death. Yes, death! That sphinx of cement and aluminum, bashing open our skulls and devouring our brains and imagination. Moloch, god of death. Systemic sacrifice, unlucky twist, environmental lottery, death. Determinism, death. Essence preceding existence, proud egos snuffing inspired embers, death. Brilliant flames blocked between contour walls, death. Cruel contours plunged sharp from outside, death. Inside, tied false knots around our minds, death. And ourselves tying knots around our necks, death. Choking, the noose knot cinches fast, tight, windpipe crunching, our face draining blue, our neck bruising blue, filling only the loop, suffocating, building, pressure, trapped, throbbing blue, dying, deoxygenated blue blood, water again sucked empty of life, deflating, collapsing lungs, the last blue breath, finally beaten. Breathe! Breathe in deep, yes, yes! Greedily gulp the limpid air, translucent, superabundant, pale blue taste, alveoli tasting al dente air, brain subtly savoring, smiling. Breathe out. What beauty! Yes! What true capital fucking B beauty! The air alone is worth it. The sky, 180 3D degrees, 4K resolution, and all the possible blues to revel in. Every conceivable blue hue, cerulean and blue-gray and stingray, aquamarine and vivid ultramarine, electric duke denim and turquoise, azure, royal blue, baby blue, Persian and Prussian blue, stone and smalt, mighty cobalt and noble midnight, sky blue, sapphire, cyan and teal, steel blue, the deep world of dark blues, nighttime, navy blues, the floating world of light blues, powder, periwinkle, and Tiffany blue, indigo, violet, and every green, nature's beauty, all blue. The sky, an infinite canvas of blues, infinitely refracted by the ocean and by us. To live is to dilate with life. And what blessed air to dilate with? What blessed water to exist forever in? You must live for now, then. Breathe, you beautiful blue generation, who are blue like the nighttime auditorium expanse, never colorless, never black. The infinite universe through a blue-tinged atmospheric lens, blue like the rain at night, dark, clear, invisible blue. Signaled by the singing crickets and humming leaves, who need so little blue light but have such abundance. Wet beetles and squirming worms, joyful like babies swaddled in comfy blanket cocoons with no alarms. Blue like the massive living ocean, blue like the massive living droplet, blue like the holy molecule of life. Oh, ecstatic blue, oh, deathless, distant blue, floating, singular, infinite blue, blue of the vast, youthful sky, trembling with free potential. Blue of that perfectly perfect circle, the same in and through of us, the same back and forth of all, recycled life after death. Blue of the very same tumbling in your veins, water, You are water suffused, breathing as you on its way through. And how often we pee and sweat, the blue beat out of us and replaced constantly. Blue born anew, yes, you are born anew. Oh, you brilliant, beautiful blue generation, who are blue in the face to live. Liquid, pressurized, yearning, blue, bursting to live, thirsting to live. The prophets yell, gagged, roaring, revitalizing, potential restrained. Let me unmuzzle you. Let me ease the shadowy constraints you cannot see, and unstop where the wellspring so that the once inert pool of each soul's condensation will finally know release. Blue vigorously exploding from each of us, flood-like. So many popped water balloons, spurting, spilling, spreading outside, us all eventually converging as all water does along the natural curves of the earth. An unstoppable, generational Mississippi cascading to our concealed destiny, carving new contours deep and sure into the sediment of reality where our ancestors left off. And, rushing free, we will one day join the vast churning ocean of timeless consciousness, vindicated in knowing that we were no trickle, nor stream, nor polluted pond, but a great blue diluvian deluge eroding a better world. Thank you.
That was extraordinary.
Thanks. Any questions, comments?
I'm just taking it in.
Take it. It's all yours.
So how did you come up with this?
Well, I really like the color blue.
Okay.
And
Where-
also I